Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video, we'll be covering Eden Zero Pocket Galaxy, my first impressions, how this gameplay essentially flows, and what you need to do. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. As you can see, I am here in the hub world, the overworld of the game. Here's going to be the steering wheel. Essentially, it drops you into the story. You get to see like the different adventures you get to go on with your characters. There's character stories. There's different aspects. We're actually going to go into Treasure Planet right here. It's sort of your daily resource grind. In case you guys are sort of wondering, the main currency that you're going to be farming a lot of the times is going to be gold, and then like these little green circly things, green spheres, I don't know what to call it. Go ahead and start right here, and these are going to be the 3 initial characters that you're going to be getting as you flow through the game. I believe you do get more characters as you play a little bit more, but for the most part it's straightforward. There is going to be this auto function right here. Just note the auto function doesn't really work. I would just, turn it on standby so you can sort of control your attacks like so, and then as you're essentially flowing through the game, it'll auto path you to the correct locations. Because I would say the combat, like as far as like the auto portions have to go, it doesn't do anything. It just walks straight into the attack, and it's not as enjoyable. Now as far as they're like, hey, do the hits feel impactful? Like, does the gameplay actually flow properly? Does it feel like really good just to sort of play the game? Is there tactile feedback on your mobile devices as you're going through things? My answer unfortunately is no when it comes to this game. Now, where does this game sort of shine? Is it like the RPG aspects where it's upgrading and like really getting into the nitty-gritty details, or is it just playing the game and sort of like understanding the mechanics? I would say it's neither. Where this game like really gets strong is the story and sort of the interactions that you have between the different characters. And if you like Fairy Tail, if this game looks sort of familiar to you, then this is what it's reminiscent of. This is by Hiro Mishima, the manga artist who brought you Fairy Tail, and I believe there was one more. I think it was like Rave Master, that was the one. And I think you will sort of see as you're flowing through the game, like I really want to call him Gray, but I believe his name is Shiki. He's like a combination of like Natsu and Gray. And then the guy with like the blonde hair, he sort of reminds me of like that lightning dude from the anime as well. He was like that punky guy, and then he turns into like a sort of good guy. And then as you can see here, there's like even more resource grinds that you can do, but that is going to be sort of like the gameplay loop as far as like, hey, you auto to certain locations and you can fight like the enemies as you're going through it. Is there difficulty in this game? I would say there's fairly difficult moments, like especially in like this boss battle, like mage mech soldier sort of area, and then there is going to be the arena. As far as the upgrade system goes, you can go here into the equipment, you can hit optimize, you can do it like based off of attack in case you want to be like more of a glass cannon sort of build, and then it'll optimize everything for you so you have the highest attack, this, that, and the third. Now what I think is really nice, since this isn't a gacha game, you're not really going to be spending a lot of time in the store and like buying and refreshing like your currency and stuff. For the most part, the store is mostly cosmetics, as you can see here, and I really do like the cosmetics. Rebecca is a fine looking waifu, as you can see, and there's gonna be different like story aspects, and there's gonna be like different characters that you get to interact with as you're going through things. You can like use your gold to get more materials to upgrade your gear and stuff, to get skip tickets, and then you can essentially buy packs and whatnot in case you want to unlock certain outfits. And just note, this is using the free premium currency, and then there is like premium currency, but it's up to you how you want to spend that stuff out. But for the most part, it's a relatively straightforward game as far as things goes. You can even update their cosmetic system, which I personally like. So for example, Rebecca right here, you can actually change it so that all of her overworld gear, or the gear that she collects, will turn into purely her cosmetics. Personally speaking, I like that sense of progression. Even though this cosmetic system is really cool, I like the sense of progression where I can actually change the way Rebecca looks based off of the gear that I place on her. There is going to be like lacrima equipment, or lacrima, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but essentially you can equip stuff so that your characters have extra stats on certain pieces of things. And then there's going to be character training. I like this because it's sort of booba friendly in some ways. How do I say this? It's waifu friendly, there you go. And essentially you can level up your characters through the hot springs over here. You can get those EXP orbs like I talked about earlier in that dungeon, and then you get like these little hearts as you're essentially flowing through the game. You beat a story, you get the currency, so on and so forth. There's also going to be a skill tree right here. I like how everything is sort of optimized in this game. While the loading screens can be a little bit annoying, if you like jump into a character, for example, this is Wise, the guy who looks looks like that lightning dragon guy from Fairy Tail. You can essentially just go right here, you hit unlock, and it'll unlock all the previous skills. So it's a relatively straightforward game as far as everything is considered. I would say this is more lenient towards fans who like the Fairy Tail series and you've always wanted to be part of the adventure. You didn't feel like a side character, or you didn't feel like, oh, I'm just watching from the sidelines. It's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, I can actually get my hooks in, I can get a little bit more of an experience on the game. And then here's going to be a little bit on arena. So you can just go ahead, jump right in here. Everything's pretty much like auto. You can set your defense party. I'm pretty sure my defense party is going to be set to like the 3 characters that I have. Yep, it is. And then we're just gonna go ahead and challenge right here. Let's see, I'm gonna find the weakest person. We're gonna hit start. And I guess there's 3 entries per day, so that is pretty nice. Don't have to go too crazy. Honestly, this game is relatively casual. But let's see if we can control anything. No, it's full auto. And do we get decimated or do we decimate them? I mean, it looks like we have full HP, so everything is good to go. And yeah, we're doing work right here. I guess there's like a little slight change in color. Honestly, they look exactly the same. Did we just fight ourselves? I have no idea, because they have the same exact like costumes and equipment. But that was interesting. There was a bit of arena. We went from rank G to F, and we got some free premium currency right there as well. So make sure to tackle your arenas if you're into that. I guess the RPG aspect's more lenient towards this side of the game, because for the most part, when you're jumping into the story, your stats don't really matter too much, and it's more of like, hey, you know, be at this recommended level. And then what's really nice, I think, is that since this game is so like heavily cosmetics based, you can actually farm cosmetics in this game. So this is going to be the mech dungeon or the cosmetic dungeon that you can do for the week. And never do this boss challenge one, even though it says like loot up, because it's going to be using your premium currency. I just want to provide that as like advice, because I was using it and now I have less premium currency. Here's going to be the boss, and it has like its story segments as well, which is kind of interesting because this isn't exactly a main mission. So I'm gonna go ahead, I guess you can watch it, you can sort of read it. The dialogue is kind of interesting. It gets kind of finicky in some parts where it's like, does that make sense for the situation that we're in or whatever? But for the most part, let's just jump right in here so you can see it. I thought it was really cool that you sort of get to control all the different characters in case you want to do so. But for the most part, Rebecca and Weiss, you know, Weiss being like the blonde-haired male, and then Rebecca being the Lucy S sort of waifu, they sort of play the same. So hopefully when we get another character, they look completely different. I think this game sort of speaks for itself as like what it sort of presents, what it can do. It's nothing too crazy, but at the same time, it is highly enjoyable in the sense of like, oh, I like the story, I like the characters that we get to interact with, and that's the parts that I think where this game is going to be shining. The moment-to-moment gameplay, not so much, but the fact that you get to enjoy this story with the characters, you get to grow with them. And there is like some points where I'm like, yo, that's messed up. It's like that standard Fairy Tail sort of tropey stuff where it's like, yes, they're overpowered, but they're overpowered and it feels good. And at the same time, when they get a dub in the game, you feel like you got a dub because it was so redeeming. You know, they beat the crap out of the person, and then it's all about friendship at the end of the day. Overall, I really like this game. Feel free to check it out in case you want more of a story-based sort of scenario. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. If you like more of this story-based mobile games, this is the one for you. If not, maybe just like watch the anime. I think the anime storyline is pretty good. Those are my top recommendations. Anyways, thanks so much, and see you guys in the next one.